Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Wide With Declan. As always, we will be discussing NASCAR-related topics, so let's get right into it. So, this week has been a bit of a busy week in the NASCAR news stable. In NASCAR in terms of news, there have been a couple pieces. The first of which being Casey Mears has signed to drive the Beard Motorsports number 62 Chevrolet in 5 races in 2026 to help him reach 500 career Cup Series starts. He is at 495 currently as of the writing of this. As of the release of this, he is at 495. He ran the Daytona 500 this year. Remember, shocked the world by making the Daytona 500 for MBM Motorsports, which put him at 495. So he's got his 5 races are Talladega in the spring, uh, Daytona in the summer, Indianapolis, Daytona in the summer, the second Talladega again in the fall, and then Homestead. So if all goes to plan, if he does qualify, I don't see any issue why he wouldn't. I don't expect any of those races, besides maybe the super speedways, to have more than 40 entries. So remember, but we saw that last year with the Chicago Street Course had 41 entries. But I don't expect any of those races to have more than 40 entries this year. So I do expect, Casey Mears, and that car we've seen with Anthony Alfredo, Noah Gragson, and even Brendan Gaughan a few years back, that 62 car has been running up front, has had a lot of speed at Daytona and Talladega. So I expect Casey Mears to maybe run up front and show his experience in that car. And then our next piece of news this week is once again regarding the Colleague Racing and Ram stable, where their driver Daniel Dye, who was suspended 2 weeks ago for derogatory comments he made on a Whatnot live stream, was reinstated on Tuesday, but was released by Colleague Racing, and so Daniel Dye was supposed to run the full season in Rams' return to NASCAR, but he will not do that. Instead, with the 10 truck now open, it will be Corey LaJoie, interesting enough, finishing out the season, and I feel that Corey LaJoie is a safe pick for a team that's trying to still find their footing and build up with this Rams highly anticipated return to NASCAR, is still trying to get fully put together. Their drivers, their only driver with previous NASCAR experience of their full-timers has been Justin Haley. But obviously Brendan Butterbean Queen is an ARCA champ, and then Minnie Tyrell, didn't even hear that name until he won Race for the Seat this year. So I feel Corey LaJoie is a nice balancing ground for those trucks to see where they're at. He's a veteran, he's experienced in NASCAR, he's had a lot of races under his belt, he knows what he's doing. So I feel Corey LaJoie is like a nice balance to show where that Colleague and Ram team is at. And LaJoie was supposed to drive the 25 for Colleague this week at Rockingham, but instead it'll be Ty Dillon behind the wheel, which makes sense. He is one of their Cup Series drivers. All right, and as we head into the off week in Rockingham, let's talk. Speaking of the Cup Series, let's talk we head into the off week. The O'Reilly and the Truck Series are at Rockingham, but it is an off week for Easter Sunday for the Cup Series. So let's talk how's the Cup Series looking after 7 races. So after 7 races, the winners have been Tyler Reddick in the first 3, Phoenix, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin at Vegas, Reddick again at Darlington, and then this past Sunday was Chase Elliott, earning Hendrick and Chevy's first win of 2026. So let's go through how are the teams looking. I know there's obviously going to be some teams looking for a much-needed off week. who they view this as a much needed off week. And so I'm going to say the teams that that desperately needed a reset were, as I mentioned, Colleague. They're cut so that when they switched to Dodge Ram, Chevy actually cut their manufacturer support in the Cup Series. So while all the other Chevy teams in the Cup Series are getting brand new flashy equipment for 2026, Colleague is stuck with scraps. So I feel they're looking to regroup. They've still been fairly competitive at the drafting tracks, but look at Vegas, Darlington, and Martinsville. They've just had no speed in either car. Ty Dillon and AJ Allmendinger have just had no speed in those cars. And then another team who is looking for this off week and has expressed his frustration with his cars is Kyle Busch. And RCR, specifically Kyle Busch. So Kyle Busch is off to another rough start. His only highlight from 2026 so far has been the pole in the Daytona 500. But that's the only good thing that happened to that 8 car this year. So him and new crew chief Jim Pullman are desperately looking for a reset this week. And then another team, I feel that Trackhouse is not where they want to be right now. Trackhouse with SVG has been the best of the drivers. Ross Chastain finished third at Atlanta, and then a best finish of 16th across the other 6 races. And then Connor Zilic has had rookie struggles. Adapting to this car, adapting to the Cup Series. So Trackhouse is in really desperate need of a reset. The last team I'd say is in desperate need of an off week is Legacy Motor Club. They showed a lot of speed towards the end of the summer last year. Remember, the Southern 500 last year, they had both cars in the top 5 in that race. They put both cars in the top 5, and they're looking for a reset because they have plans to expand. They already announced that they will expand to a third car in 2027. They will purchase a third charter in 2027 full time. And so Legacy Motor Club, we saw John Hunter and Eric Jones both get lapped multiple times on speed in these last couple of races. So a couple teams looking for a reset and a couple teams just looking to see what they've got in these first 6 races and looking at what they got over this off week heading to Bristol. And that's it for this week on 4 Wide with Declan. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and bye for now.